Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Time for Outlawed Live. I am Ron Stone, and I am live here with Mike Idle. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Doing excellent. We thawed out a little bit. Got a little chilly last night, but it's another Tuesday night, one Tuesday closer to pulling season.
Right. You know, I'm supposed to go to Florida here in a couple of weeks, and then I hear that right now the first ever winter storm warning has been declared for North Florida.
They said snow. They said snow in Florida, but don't say that. That won't affect that awesome pull that we're putting together down there in Satsuma. And boy, oh boy, if there ever was a strategic day to look over to your wife and say, hey, let's go down to a tractor pull. Oh, where's it at? Florida. It was a negative 26 wind chill here this morning. I believe the answer is yes. Let's go to Florida.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I think the weather is going to be a little bit different. Of course, we're a little further south than where that snow is occurring down in North Florida. They're talking like the Destin area and places like that, I think, are getting actual snow. But we're still over a couple of weeks away from that. We'll be down there the 7th and 8th of February. We do have some pullers that have signed up on the app. Those pullers out there that have not signed up on the app, we encourage you to do so. It's super easy. Just go to the app and follow the prompts, and it'll get you signed up online. So, and then the fans out there can see who all's coming as well. So full pull picks will be there. So you'll be able to make your picks, and it makes it easier for those folks to make their bets whenever they can see who's coming to the event. So get signed up. I appreciate the ones that have signed up so far. But we're looking forward to it. Just like we're looking forward to when the smoke clears tonight, and our guest tonight, Lane Paulsen, will be on here directly. So
he's going to be excited to talk about, I was thinking about this all day long. Some people will go decades waiting for that big packet in the mail for their shot to pull with inside Freedom Hall. Going to be really interesting to see what he thinks at, just a young man. What is this, his second year, Ron? Second full season, I want to say. And he's already made it to the big dance. So, very exciting for Lane.
Yeah, 23 was his rookie season where he took co-rookie of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was well-deserved. That was a tough one for the pullers to vote on. There were a couple of really good rookies in 23. But yeah, Lane, pretty quiet kid, quiet guy, but lets that tractor do the talking for him when he gets out there.
And it talks. That is we say it's amazing that he's young and he's going, but it's a well-earned spot. He deserves to be there, no doubt about it.
We're going to stay on top of these comments tonight because we've been getting so many comments these last few shows. We get a little behind and people are answering stuff we talked about 15 minutes ago. So I'm going to try to stay on top of it. Case Conover, he is a super fan, watches every Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Paradise Alley Lounge said it's so cold my crankshaft disappeared. Zook Fukerberg, good evening, y'all. No snow in North Texas. Of course,
good.
Doug both there. Zook Fukerberg. Going to be pulling there in his neck of the woods in Lindsay, Texas in June. That's going to be a big one. And then Paradise Alley Lounger, Ron and Trooper Mikey help entertain me and my frozen drink. Now, Paradise Alley, where's he from? Is he from Northern Ohio? I'm sure it's pretty.
No, that's our Bowling Green buddy. That's that. He changes his YouTube name every so often. He's been
he's
Party Town and Campground Nut and all that. He's our whiskey drinker from Bowling Green, Ohio. Watches all of our stuff. Very active fan. Big pulling enthusiast.
It's cold up there too. That lake effect snow coming off the lake up there is pretty significant. But no, pretty excited about Satsuma. If you know anything about pulling and you watch anything about pulling and look it up on social media, I'm sure you've seen the ads for this pull in Satsuma, Florida. It's supposed to be the best pulling track in the state of Florida, is what I'm being told.
Tons and tons, and not in the exaggerative sense, but literal 2,000 pounds, tons and tons of Georgia clay were imported down to this track. It's a former circle track that was purchased by a Midwesterner out of Illinois, owns a light super stock himself, knows dirt, knows pulling, and that's what everyone is saying is this is the real deal. This isn't just, the Daytona Beach where you're going to bury it in the sand. This is going to be a high dollar pulling track.
Yeah. And of course, everybody has, It may be the best track in Florida. It may not be the best track you've ever pulled on. I haven't been here yet, but hey, you're all pulling on the same track. But
that's true.
Saying it is the best track in Florida, you got to look forward to that. Hope Brock from Lufkin, Texas, checking in tonight. Randy Barker saying good afternoon. Zook Fukerberg says hi, Hope. Hi, Hope. Marty Samuelson, the unofficial mayor of Ravenna, Nebraska, survived the cold in Nebraska, getting better next few days. Hope Brock once again. So we're going to stay on top of these tonight. I don't want to get behind on these, but we'll have Lane checking in here in a few minutes, about 7 minutes or so. So, Mike, I want to touch on you're writing a piece now for Beer Money Pulling Team. And are you doing this weekly? Is this bi-weekly?
It's once a week unless I have a writer's block. So it is roughly, we'll call it 3 of the 4 Mondays of each month. You can expect an article. This project Jason and I kind of started about this time last year. Over the summer, it was focused on the Outlaws. It was actually called This Week with the Outlaws. But yeah, once a week, I kind of freelance and I take my opinion as an editorial and I write on what I'm thinking about or what's relevant in pulling, what I've watched. But you can always find that under the blog at beermoneypullingteam.com. This week was on kind of how do we expand the sport, kind of some of my thoughts on just where do I see us going and what do I feel that we as fans and we as broadcasters can do.
Roger Rui, the Rue Crew, checking in from the Rue Crew shop. There in Nebraska. Don Spoor checking in from Neenah, Wisconsin. It's 6 below 0. So that's a common theme in the Midwest everywhere here. It may not be 6 out here right now, but it was this morning. But yeah, it's cold. It's cold. So I just wanted to talk about your article a little bit before Lane gets on here.
Sure.
As far as growing the sport, and I'll be honest with you, I don't read all of your articles that you put out. I try to skim over it as fast as I can. But I read this article yesterday, I think. And as far as growing the sport, there's a lot of ideas out there. And, those ideas, I think you have to think outside the box. You really do. And I think, like our Young Guns program, that's a big step in the right direction. Social media is huge. If you're not using social media, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? You have to use social media. Then you get these young guns involved, and those young guns with the Outlaws. I think we grew some young guns with the Outlaws. Some of the kids that may not even thought about pulling started seeing these other young pullers pull, and they wanted to pull too. So I think, and of course, they're in social media. They have young friends that know young friends, and they start asking questions. What's this tractor pulling all about? That's, I think, a huge step for pulling. Is it ever going to be on the same stage as, say, the NFL or Major League Baseball or things like that, or the NHRA? I don't know. But we have to think outside the box. Be open-minded, if you will. If you've been in the sport for years and years and years, it's good to think outside the box a little bit,
I think we really need to expand to, pay attention to the crowds. And I noticed this year, Outlaws do a really nice job at getting very large crowds to come in. To me, it works. It works gate up. Big crowds equal the promoter and the event organizers and the association's going to make more money. And if they have more money, they have a bigger budget. A bigger budget is a bigger purse, and a bigger purse leads to more pullers. So the question is, how do we expand who we're bringing to the track? And in a world where the acreage size of farms is expanding, but the number of people farming per acre is shrinking, I think we need to really be thinking about making our sport attractive and accessible to people beyond the agricultural industry. And I think we've seen this in the truck classes. I think a big reason we've seen the 3.0 diesel truck class get so big, people my age might not have grown up driving a tractor, but we grew up driving trucks, and that's something that we find more accessible. So I think if we continue to reach to people in all walks of life and all demographics, and you hit on it, the Young Gun program really does a nice job of that. It keeps the next generation enthusiastic about what's happening. get them to the track and make sure they have a great time when they're there. Turn casual fans into lifelong fans. And Ron, I think sometimes you do an excellent job, and that falls into us as the announcers too. If you've got a person who came out to the Smith County Fair on a Wednesday night and it just happens to be there's a tractor pull, maybe they've never been to one. But if you and I can make sure that they're engaged and having a good time and explain some things, then at the bare minimum, that's the role we can play to turn them from a casual fan to someone who says, well, shoot, I'm going to come again on, Friday night. Oh, where are you guys going on Saturday? I'm going to go watch that one too. That's what I think we need to be looking to do. Get them coming to the track.
You mentioned the diesel pickup class. When that class first bust onto the scene in mid 2000s, I would say 2005, somewhere in there, 2006, 2004, somewhere in that area, that group of people was usually young guys, 25, 26 or younger. And the influx of new people coming into the pools was incredible with that class, because kids that age, they don't do things alone. They bring people with them. They bring
all their buddies,
people with them. Yep. They brought their friends and their friends' girlfriends, and so all these people were coming in. It was great to see when that diesel pickup class first bust onto the scene. So yeah, if there's a way to get through to those young people, yeah, I mean, that's what we need to do. And then, I'll get off my soapbox here in a minute, but
well, this is good. I think these are conversations worth having. I think these are things that, it's good stuff.
I see some negative aspects. I'm probably gonna get myself in trouble here. As far as promoters that want to have every class they can possibly have under the sun at their event, and people's attention spans have gotten shorter. I mean, we know that with social media, they want to watch a reel for 30 seconds and move on to the next one. They just boom, boom, boom. That's why the big screen for promoters, man, get that big screen. Yeah, it's not cheap. Man, it keeps people engaged with what's going on, makes the time go by faster, and keeps people engaged and entertained while the pull's going on. You have that very little downtime between hooks because you have this big screen entertaining them, showing them the replay, showing a commercial or two, just showing some information up there to keep them engaged. But there's nothing wrong with having a 2.5 hour show.
Not only is there nothing wrong with it, I think a lot of your fans would prefer it.
Yes.
Now your diehard pullers.
You and I are going to be there till the last.
Oh yeah, but and this is a backwards way of thinking, but you don't need to convince me or you that tractor pulling is cool. The guy who wants to watch 13 classes, he's going to drive 9 hours to get there anyway. He's coming no matter what.
Right.
We want to know the buddy that went along for the ride with him. How do we get him to come back? Three out pace of pull is big. There's nothing wrong with a good, high quality 3 hour show.
Yep. I agree. And we get too caught up in trying to have too many classes, I think that's a wrong way to go. I'd rather see fewer classes, pay those pullers a little more for being there, and you might even draw more pullers out to come pull, or you might convince pullers, hey, they're actually paying people a little more. I may build a tractor, I mean, granted, it's not all about money for the pullers. Go back to the 80s, there were a few teams that were trying to go full time because the sponsor money was there, and there was big money changing hands in the 80s when pulling was just booming. But if we can make it more enticing, then I think we should. So nothing wrong with a 2.5 hour show. There are shows.
I agree. I think that's an excellent point.
They want 4.5 hours because they want to sell beer.
And if they're hanging around and the pace is good, hey man, it can work too. We've been to many a pull where it can work well, and you can almost start a show too early trying to get through those big shows as well. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into building the perfect product when it comes to pulling.
We're going to get back to the comments here. Mitch Altman watching, and thanks for watching. Some new people watching, and thanks for tuning in. Dick Blank Sport, he's here every Tuesday night. Thanks for watching from Inwood, Iowa. John Schrum, what about always trying to have local classes at the pulls? That is, I know what you're saying there, but there's so much responsibility in having those there. There's such a liability for the promoter, for the organization, for the sled operator. You wouldn't think that a stock pickup, something would, come apart, hurt somebody, but it happens. U-joints come out, drive shafts come out. I've seen a few trucks, even automatic transmissions, where stuff has come out of them and blown apart. There were several years ago, I'm going to say 2008 and 2007, somewhere in there. There was a Ford pickup, totally stock, V10 Ford. You see these V10 Fords in a lot of motorhomes and a lot of pickups from that era. The flywheel came out, went straight up through the dash and straight through the windshield of that pickup, stock pickup. So that's what you have to think about when
I hold my breath more watching the bone stock vehicle go down the track than I do a mini rod, just because that they haven't been built to be performance vehicles. But to John's point, I think one thing that Outlaws, and I know you're heavily involved in the schedule making, if nothing else, put the big class that the local guy does pull in. Mercer, Missouri comes to mind. A Wednesday night show at a town of 600 people doesn't really strike you as a pro stock venue. But hey, that's where Mr. Porter's from. So let's make sure the pro stocks are there, because he's going to bring out 50 people just pulling for him right there. So I think there's a way to make that work on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, just have to be careful with those bone stock pickups. Mm-hmm. Make sure you have insurance in order. As far as Outlaws go, we won't sanction an event with pickups without the safety equipment, or tractors without the safety equipment. Basically, if the promoter wants to run that, that's on their insurance. And then we kind of declare when our show starts and when our show ends. Sure. So there's no confusion about, when our insurance starts and when it stops during an event. So I know what you're saying, though. It's hard to get started into it, but a lot of guys kind of ruin it too when you say they're going to bring a stock pickup and they bring something a lot hotter than stock and puts a lot more stress on driveline parts and things that can break. So Randy Barker says, for me, bringing the youth back to the farmer's mindset, et cetera. If you want to educated question or have one, ask a farmer. It's like going to vocational school. Well, I agree with that.
Yep. I think that's a mission we would always support in pulling.
Have to watch it because because of insurance.
I saw this on the side and I was like, you and Doug have the exact same. You were on the same wavelength here.
John Shrum again. Hot street diesel classes, hot street gas classes. A lot of pretty powerful street trucks out there. I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mitch Altman's checking in. He's telling us where he's from. Baxley, Georgia. I announced a pull down in that area, down at Tifton. I actually didn't announce the pull. I announced the live stream for it back several years ago at the Abraham Baldwin College down there.
I'll be darned.
Ben Beller from Kansas checking in. I don't know what that next one is. I'm not even going to show it because I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah, so, I think that's in a different language.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, but
I'm not either.
Not sure. But hey, we got Lane Paulsen. He's fresh out of makeup here. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Hopefully they got the makeup right, man. He's there he is. There he is. Lane Paulsen, ladies and gentlemen. Lane Paulsen. Lane, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. They treating you good in makeup there? They got you all ready to go, I see.
I guess so.
I'm giving you a hard time. I give a lot of the guys a hard time here. But.
Lane, the last time I remember you were on this show, and I think I might have just watched this episode or I was on for just a little bit, you had your whole family sitting just outside a camera view, kind of egging you on a little bit. Do we have mom and dad and everyone on the edges here gonna be your voice behind the scenes, or is it just you tonight, buddy?
They're here. My dad's on the couch watching a basketball game, and then my mom's just sitting right beside me on the other side.
All right. Perfect.
Mitch Altman says it's snowing in South Georgia. We don't want to hear that, Mitch. Come on now. We're going to be pulling down there in a couple of weeks. We don't hear about snow down there. So,
well, Lane, the big question is this, man. National Farm Machinery Show. I'm not even going to ramble a question. Usually it takes me 90 seconds to ask a question. I'm just going to leave it right there. National Farm Machinery Show. Tell us, man, how you feeling?
It's a pretty wonderful opportunity to be able to be invited to this pool, especially since there's only 24 limited pro stock, so the whole USA that get to go to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Lane, we we talk about you and saying that you're pretty quiet, you're pretty reserved, but you let that tractor do the talking for you, man. You're a pretty good driver there. Who do you owe your driving skills, your abilities to in the family?
I guess probably my dad, watching him for so many years, just trying to take tips from him and other pullers, I guess.
And your sister, I actually got a couple pictures.
I was going to say
here.
Just dad, right? Just dad. No one else we take any forms of influence from when it comes to getting in the cockpit of that machine, right?
I guess maybe my sister a little bit, but
now is I know you guys sold the other tractor, the sibling rivalry. Your sister has driven this tractor, hasn't she? The Life in the Fast Lane.
Yeah, I believe she's driven it 4 or 5 times this season.
Okay, who's the better driver, Lane?
I guess me. I guess because I got to win. I don't know.
What were some of your personal highlights from not only this season, but you've been at it for 2 years now? First year, you come out co-rookie of the year. Second year, everyone's kind of always afraid of that sophomore slump, but you showed them it wasn't a fluke and you knew what you were doing. What are some of your favorite memories, or what are some of your biggest takeaways after 2 full seasons in the seat of that tractor?
Probably some of my favorite memories is winning Rock Valley more than once in 2 years, winning 2 of the 4 times and almost winning a 3rd out of the 4th time, and then making friends and all the family being there to come support me and stuff at the pulls, and just, I don't know, the pullers in the back telling you, giving you confidence, wishing everyone good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you took a win there. What, on Saturday night, your rookie season, right?
Yes.
That's pretty awesome, man. I mean, who was more excited, you or your pops?
I think, if honestly, it's probably my mom, because the first thing she did as soon as I won was give me a big hug.
Awesome. Who named the tractor? Did you name it?
No, my mom and dad did. They one day get back from school, and then they were just going through names, and then that's what we decided on would be the most fitting.
I thought it kind of maybe had a dual meaning, because I know your mom likes 80s rock and stuff like that, and I figured your mom probably had a big hand in naming that tractor. But your sisters are kind of having a sibling rivalry here about who gets credit for your driving abilities.
Man, just speaking of names, like you guys have got sibling rivalry, Life in the Fast Lane. You're like the guy in a movie who has to work the title of the show in before the movie's over. You've hit all of them right on the spot there. So, but no, that's great.
Randy Barker's asking for a video. I'll tell you what, I was trying to pull a video and bring in here, and my computer was not cooperating. I've been having some problems with the old computer here lately, so I don't have any video to show. It, for some reason, was not saving in my computer. So, unfortunately, I don't have any. So Lane, what's the plan for Louisville, Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've never pulled there before, right?
No, I've not.
Your sister's pulled there. Has she given you any pointers on what to do, on the track there, if it's any different from, say, a 300-foot track during the summer?
No, not quite yet. I think we'll make a couple changes from last time, just a few rookie mistakes of what we made last time there.
So has your dad pulled there in Louisville before?
Yes, he has. He's pulled there, I think, 2 or 3 times with the alcohol tractor.
Okay. No fires, though, right? No fires.
No,
Okay.
But he did put a hole in the block on the last one. He went there.
So you're a kid who's, obviously you'd seen this track several times, been there, watched family members pull, watched several people you look up to pull. What's your kind of personal game plan? What are you seeing in that track? What are you thinking about? Do you feel you're going to drive any differently, or just kind of feel it in the seat of your pants when you're out there and just let your routine take over?
I honestly don't know. I guess we'll just see when the day comes and see how the track is and where to go, and try and play my ducks in a row and hopefully do good.
Hey, that's perfect. A to B, and just let the tractor do the talking, like Ron always talks about. Who are some people that, especially getting ready to go to this big event, outside of your family maybe, that you've looked up to and gotten some really good advice from? Are there any kind of role models that you have out there in the pits who have given you some good advice, or, kind of tell us about that?
I mean, there's been other pullers per se, or just family coming up telling what to do. Or my mom, maybe she'll be up at the track and she'll be like, do this and this. I seen this from this class. Or other pullers just saying, I do this, and I guess that's pretty much it.
So just kind of take it all in and listen to what they all say, and just kind of apply it as you go out every single time, right?
Yeah, or maybe sometimes I'll think, man, I'll probably do this, and then sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
They're asking you, who do you look up to?
Who do you look up to?
Who do you look up to?
I was hoping, I knew we would hear from him. I was just wondering. I was like, last time Dad said something, and then he leaned in, and I think by the end of the show he was sitting right there with you and doing it. So they're just excited, bud. But no, Lane, I think you answered that perfectly. You just take it from everybody, and you kind of apply your own way of driving too, and you just go out there and do what you can on the track. Yeah, Daly says me. There you go. There's our answer.
Who your biggest influence is. So, no, you do a great job, man. It's I've been impressed with you as a driver since you started your rookie season there. It's funny that at Rock Valley, when we were making picks for Saturday night, I almost picked you in your rookie season. I thought, and I picked somebody else, and then you went out and won. I should have stuck with my gut. I don't know why, but I was thinking you were going to win it there. But yeah, you do an awesome job, man. And what's the plans for 2025? What do you guys got going on? You going to run points this next season?
I don't think we've quite decided, but I think it'll just day by day and take in, see what we decided right before the season starts.
Any plans on any other classes? Is Dad going to get out and pull a little bit this next summer, or no?
I don't think so, unless he wants to jump in the seat of the 4-1.
Okay. All right. Well, we hear rumors about tractors being built and stuff, and I just kind of like to try to figure out if some of those are true or not. And I heard some rumors. So.
Oh, Blaine, are you holding back on us? He does strike me as someone with a good poker face, Ron. So I feel like if there was some information that he wasn't ready to release, he seems like a person who could keep on to a secret pretty good.
Are you holding out?
Now I'm wondering what we're going to see in 2025.
No, I'm not holding back anything. I think we're just going to stick with the 4-1s for now, and maybe someday go up to a 5.0 Pro Stock is the game plan in the end, but that's couple years down the road. That's not
sure.
For a little bit.
What do you see as your next big goal, or what would be your next kind of level on the ladder? Your first year you come out co-rookie of the year. I mean, that would be what every puller wants. Year one. Year number two, the invite to National Farm Machinery Show. What would be the next nice little resume booster or trophy that you would kind of just feel really proud of if you could accomplish?
It'd probably be either winning the points, or maybe at some of the bigger 2-day hooks, maybe winning like the Rock or the Thunderbolt, or getting some more trophies per se.
Sure, absolutely. That's a good answer. I like that. So that's good, man. That's good. Now, Marty Samuelson says, "Is Ravenna on the list?"
Are you guys coming to Ravenna?
I think we might, but I'm not entirely for sure yet.
All right. Well, Marty's from Ravenna, so he wants to know. So that's who's asking. Case Conover. Is there a chance you will pull in Texas one day? Well, if you go 5-inch pro, there's definitely a possibility of that. So right now there's no 4-1 class down there. So sorry, I didn't mean to answer for you, Lane, but unless you pull pro stock, you're probably not right now.
Nope, not quite.
Wait a minute. Ben Beller he said in listening, you said 4-1s. Like you had more than one 4-1. Is there something cooking there?
No, I must have just spoke wrong, and we got only
we
one.
Lane, we just really want there to be another Paulsen pulling tractor. That's what it, we are just trying to dig a rumor or start a rumor before this show is over. But folks, Lane is being adamant. It is life in the fast lane, and that is the only machine coming out of the camp right now.
Yeah, there needs to be more Paulsens in pulling, I think, in the Nebraska, Iowa area. I think you're right. There's not enough Paulsen. They're almost like the Ulmer Mafia, though a lot of your Paulsens in pulling aren't related, right?
No, I've actually never even heard of any of them. They're not related at all in any way or shape, I guess.
So you got Kurt Paulsen. It has
Yep.
a light super ag tractor.
Yep.
Let me know. Jeremy Paulsen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's a modified tractor. That's a Paulsen. Got 3 Chevys on it. We got you under the microscope here, Lane. Sorry, buddy. When somebody hears you say plural 4 ones, they get excited.
Yeah, we're just trying to cook up another tractor. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just will one into existence. What are your travel plans for Louisville? You pull Thursday night, so kind of a comfortable time. Are you going to try to be down there early, rolling right in at showtime? What's your agenda look like?
I think we're going to leave either Sunday night or sometime on Monday and be there early, and I don't know, enjoy the farm show a little bit early and get in the arena Wednesday. I think you can go on with the tractor for Thursday night, and yeah.
And are you committed to it, staying no matter what? I know some pullers say, hey, we don't care what happens. We're here till Sunday morning, and other pullers are like, you know what? We're packing up as soon as we're done. What's your philosophy beyond Thursday night?
I think we'll stay. We really enjoy going to the farm show and watching all the classes on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and watching the finals to see who wins it all, I guess.
Now, are you primarily, or do you just go for the pull, or do you enjoy the agricultural exposition as well?
I enjoy the agriculture, seeing the new products and stuff out for the 2025 season, I guess.
There's a lot to see there.
It's big fun all the way around. This is a great week for you and your family, wherever the dice may fall.
Yeah, because usually when we go to the farm show, I can get about 5 miles in a day. Usually when it's about there, and then still don't get to see everything.
Yeah, it'd be an awesome experience for you, man. Going down that tunnel, down onto the track, and we're gonna be making a lot of noise for you. We'll be there, and it'll be awesome to see. I'm always excited when Outlaw Pullers get the nod to go. But it's even cooler to me to see the young guns get out there, the young representatives of the Outlaws, and show these folks that you're no slouches, on these tractors and these trucks. You guys have the know-how and the skills to drive these things. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Lane. You got.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's a really cool experience to go down Freedom Hall Tunnel. Pullers get more nervous than they ever have before, and I'm really excited for that opportunity to take.
Do you get the nerves? Do you get the nerves before you pull?
No, I have not since my rookie year. It's just, I don't know, just hope everything goes all right. My biggest worries is if it's going to blow going down the track. That's all I don't want that, but once I get done with the pass, it's just smooth and a fun ride.
So you don't get the butterflies at all? It's just like jumping on a tractor going to work at home nowadays when you jump on there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. I don't get nervous.
That's great. You know what? That's the answer I anticipated. You do not strike me as someone who second guesses, overthinks, and kind of fidgets and get nervous. I'm jealous, man. I'm the type of person that I can't sit still even if I tried to. So no, calm, cool, and collected. Ron, I want to go back to something that you said, and I want to kind of point it out to Lane. You talked about how neat it is to see the young guns and the success they're having and seeing them kind of come to the National Farm Machinery Show. Well, I imagine from Lane and a lot of these pullers' perspective, it's really, really neat to watch all these legendary pullers pull there. But I bet it's cool for those legendary pullers, those pullers who've been around for decades, to watch the influx of these young drivers, pullers who have been to Louisville maybe, 10, 15, 20 times, to watch pullers like Lane and several of other of our young guns come down. I bet that's a fun and reassuring feeling for them as well, to know that the sport is moving in a positive direction. So really cool when you think about, how old are you, Lane? 17, 18, 19?
I'm 17 years old.
17 years old, and you might be down there with, Bill Leischner or someone, and your paths might cross, someone who's been there since the 80s. And just to think that that's the place where this stuff happens. It's where the sport keeps going. Just a neat thought. I bet they enjoy watching drivers like you go down that track.
Yes, I just hope that I can maybe impress them, or hopefully I do all right. If I get in the top 5, I'll be ecstatic to even get in the top 5 down there.
That would be a great accomplishment, and that's a great goal.
That'd be awesome. Ben Beller from Kansas said he'll be there watching Thursday night. Lane cheering you on. Kurt Van Beek's Lane, one of the best young drivers. I agree
Completely.
Sadie Paulsen says, super proud of you and all your hard work, Laner.
Yeah.
Randy Parker, awesome. That's the heart. People like to beat the drivers. And Rick Dooley, Jeff, remote control keeps. Oh, this guy's talking. He's talking about RC pulling.
Yep.
Terry Earls, good evening. Good evening. We're trying to stay on top of all these comments. We get a little bit behind, and I know there was one in there I wanted to kind of highlight there. Ken Summers said that 4.1 will probably run with the Pro Stock, so you could probably go run 5-inch Pro with your 4.1.
I don't know about that. I don't think we're going to be able to keep up. I think the rear end would probably go out if we tried doing that.
Lane, anybody you want to thank, buddy? Sponsors, family members, parents, grandparents, anybody you want to thank for your success here early in your pulling career?
Yeah, I'd like to especially thank my family, my dad, for giving me the opportunity to even drive it, to go down the seat and trusting me with it. And then I'd like to thank Joe Bush Ag Repair, all my everyone that works on the farm during the weekends, so we can go out to tractor pull, and all my friends that come to the pulls to come support me, and the promoters, I guess, the pulls, and everyone who's helped along the way.
Now, has your dad driven this particular tractor?
No, he has not, but he's driven the sibling rivalry a couple times.
Okay, all right. We nicknamed him Fireball there a few years ago for a reason.
I was gonna say, what was he the one driving at Unionville where it caught on fire? It had big
sibling rivalry tractor. Yeah, he drove it.
Was that dad driving or was that sister driving?
No, that was dad.
That's kind of what I thought. Yeah.
Sorry, Lane. Yeah, that's we named him Fireball because he had that alcohol tractor and he was always catching on fire. And then he goes out and drives a diesel tractor and catches it on fire. I think that was the only fire that tractor ever experienced when your dad drove it, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, there's something to it, man. There's something to that. Be careful. You're gonna let Pops drive this one. You get the fire extinguishers ready, all right?
Okay.
Stop Fire, the official fire extinguisher.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Lane, we're excited, buddy. We're going to be there cheering you on. And, there's going to be a lot of Outlaw fans sitting at home watching as well as in the crowd there live. So, man, do us proud. I know you will. And we have a lot of confidence in you as a driver, man. And you're a great young man. And it's awesome having you representing us in the sport of pulling, buddy.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lane, for taking the time out, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll see you in Louisville.
Okay. See you later.
Good luck, bud.
Good night.
See you guys.
Just calm, cool, collected, and confident, and he doesn't get nervous. Doesn't get nervous. Boy, Ron, if I've said it once, I've said it so many times. There's a reason I only talk about him. You've been around me enough to know I'm an antsy person. You can only imagine what I would be doing.
When I'm announcing with you, you got to keep about at least an arm's length because your hands and arms are flailing.
It is just nuts. So I envy people like Lane. When we ask him, you're going to pull at Louisville, do you get nervous? Nah. That is cool as a cucumber. But you know what? That's how it should be, and good for him. He's earned it.
I had a feeling he would be pretty calm. He wouldn't get too excited when he's pulling. But Tim Dunclaw says good luck to Lane. Zook Fukerberg, we didn't get that one in time. I think they have a lot of stuff done at Joe Bush, I think.
Yep. Yep, I noticed he mentioned that, and that's I think a lot of people have a lot of stuff done there. That's you see that one thrown around quite a bit.
So awesome. And next Tuesday we'll have another outlaw puller going to Louisville. Don't have them lined up just yet, but what was our count on Louisville this year? 16, 17?
I was just flipping through my previous notes.
16-ish.
I think it was 16 or 17. Yeah, I had 13 plus 4, so 17 was kind of the unofficial count that I had right there. Ron, how many times have you attended Louisville? Has this been something that you've just been to for decades straight, or have you kind of bounced around, or what are some of your Louisville experiences over the years?
I think it's been 3 or 4 times I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I literally didn't go to my first one until 2018, I think.
Yep.
I think it was the 50th at that time. It
Sure.
was the first one I've ever been to, literally. I just never got the opportunity to go, and I said, the heck with it, I'm going, and went. So, really cool experience. Super Bowl of pulling, basically. Indoor pulls, wise, but some would argue that your Bowling Green is your Super Bowl of pulling, but it's more limited to one organization, where the National Farm Machinery Show invites all the organizations. They pick the best.
I feel like drivers, the emotions that they show at the National Farm Machinery Show are even bigger than the ones that we see at the Rock Valleys or the other big destination pulls for other associations. Yeah, I feel like this is the Daytona 500 is almost how I'd put it. It's the big one that kicks off the whole season, and it's the crown jewel that everybody wants before they're done with their career.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool experience to go. If you go around the exhibitors, I mean, there's so much to see. If you're a farmer or work in that industry, there's so much stuff there. Hard to see it all in one day. You have to go a couple of days, and the pull is just, that's the fun. That's the most fun part of the whole show, is going to the tractor pulls.
Well, and it's fun too, because we kind of forget, and that's why I was trying to talk to Lane. A lot of people, maybe even most people, go because of the farm machinery show. It's an agricultural exposition. But for every one person you see who's there because they want to look at all the new displays and equipment, for every single one, it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. The next person's there for the pull. So it is a mecca. It is a collection of pulling fans as well. So it's a neat dynamic. It's not just one or the other. And it's the pull. Maybe it's always been this way, but it's almost just as big, if not bigger, than the exposition when it comes to the buzz around the people you'll talk to. Now, maybe I say that because I'm in pulling media, but that's how it felt to me in the times I've been there.
It's kind of cool to be there, and you may not, some of the pullers, the celebrities, and some of the legends that, from years past, that might just be there, not pulling, but going to watch, and you see them out there. You see pulling celebrities and stars, and it's like, hey, I know that person. That's,
and I get a kick out of watching the other associations too. You go to the big atrium and get your dinner or your lunch or whatever, and you'll see these major pulls or these regional level associations, and they'll sit together, and you'll look over and be like, oh, well, there's the Mid-South guys, or there's the Wayne County Fair guy, that you can almost identify them. Half of them will wear matching polos because it's a chance for them to represent their brand and their specific pull. It's, folks, if you haven't been, go and help support us, support the Outlaws, but just support agriculture. It's a neat experience. There's a lot of stories to be told out there.
Yeah, last year I did an interview with Miles Krieger.
Mm-hmm.
He has a little stage set up in an area there during the day, and where people go eat and they sit down. And I sat down at a table there waiting for my turn to talk, and ran into some guys that I pulled with 15, 20 years ago. So,
oh, sure. Yeah.
Guys from Kansas. It's like, that's crazy. All these people here, and you run into people from where you're from. So
sure.
But yeah, awesome experience. If you haven't been, gotta go to Louisville National Farm Machinery Show. Mike, who do you have tonight on When the Smoke Clears?
We have one of our most diehard fans and one of our one of our most intriguing pullers out there, the doppelganger from Germany, Zook Fukerberg, aka the one and only Griffin Grau, Mr. Doug Voth himself. He's another one of these. He's been a big supporter of When the Smoke Clears since it first launched, sent me his information early. We kind of waited till he had his tractor built and kind of waited for the timing to get right. But someone who's really been wanting to be on this program. My only apology is that when working with the media developers, due to the fact that his tractor, as it sits now, the new version of the tractor, only hooked to the sled at the final hook of the year, they didn't feel like they had a ton of amazing footage of the new version. So you're actually going to watch this tractor transition from the old version to the new version in the highlight video. So fans, pay attention if you haven't seen it one way or the other, because this does do a cool job of showing both aspects of the tractor. When the smoke clears, you'll be seeing the Griffin Growl. Doug Voth with the Griffin Growl. And before I read his bio, Ron, you know so much more. You're kind of a little bit of a history buff, and you know your airplane engines. Tell the world this is not just any old V12 right here. Kind of give the quick nuts and bolts on what he uses for a power plant.
Yeah, this is a Rolls-Royce Griffin from World War II. They put these in some bombers. I'll think of the name of those bombers, British bombers in World War II. They also put them in the British Spitfire fighter aircraft, single engine. Of course, the Lancaster bomber, I think it was, that they put those engines in. Just super powerful motors, huge cubic inches, like 2,490, I think, cubic inches on these V12 motors. Of course, they use superchargers driven off a crank on the front of the crankshaft in the aircraft. And they did the supercharger simply because when they go up into the higher elevations, you get up high where the air is really thin, the motor needs more oxygen to make power. So they put the superchargers on there to cram more air in. Well, those superchargers were designed in the 30s and 40s. There are a lot better versions or ways to push air into those motors. So what Doug has done has put turbos on it. Now, he only has 2 passes on the tractor. You were just speaking of that a little bit ago. And those turbos, they kind of played it safe at Lufkin. They turned it up a little bit for Saturday night after Friday night's run, but they got some good data. And, Doug said, we're going to keep turning it up as we go. Instead of, going, balls out, Katie bar the door, first pass. Yep. They don't want to blow that thing sky high. So
yeah, what's the old saying? What lean is mean and fat is safe, or something like that. Yeah. I think they ran it pretty rich, there off the get go. But just look at this thing, that the transition they've made for how they are putting forced air to it. This tractor could never run another pass again in its life and would still go down, in my opinion, as one of the most iconic and meanest looking modifieds ever built. When they did this and when they put those twin turbos on her, they did such a great job with their paint scheme and with the black headers coming out and everything. I do believe that this is going to work, and this is going to be a very competitive tractor. But if nothing else, it is amazing eye candy as it sits right now.
Pretty cool. And it's the Shackleton bomber. Sorry about that, Doug. I said the Lancaster bomber. the Shackleton bomber, 2,239 cubic inches. So yeah,
So
great big V12.
getting into his biography right here. Doug says he's been pulling for quite some time. It says drives a Griffin Growl, class and description. It's a 7,400 modified. It says it technically can run 7,500 pound for regional NTPA or other associations as well, but it's a 7,400 modified with the Outlaw Association. Been pulling for 12 years. His first hook was when he was 15 years old. He drove a Minneapolis Moline on alcohol. Said the run wasn't good. Dad always told me not to slip clutches on farm tractors. Says now today, when I climb into the cockpit for my first run, he was like, slip the hell out of that clutch. He says it was a spring clutch that I could barely push. So he says 15-year-old him, things learned his lessons quick, but a fun story that he gives us right there for his first ever hook. Says his most memorable hook was 2019, first time down the track with the Griffin at Whitewright. Said the wildest ride he ever took was at De Leon. He says it was before the Humpco with Griffin. Points championships, he says, I don't have any yet. And I like the way he answers that. None yet. Says his biggest pulling hero, like so many out there, are his father, Melvin Voth, but he also wants to give a big shout out to Wayne Longnecker. Now, if I'm right, Ron, this would be Wayne's old power plant, if not Wayne's old tractor, right? That's where this thing originated, right?
Yeah, Doug bought Wayne's tractor, and I think Wayne has of course, Doug lives in Texas, Wayne lives in Iowa. A lot of phone calls, I think, between the two, and Wayne Longnecker always offering, to help, Doug get through these. Because Doug, he took this motor over. Wayne had been working on it for years, and then, Doug gets this brand new machine, and it's a little different from most of the things I'm sure Doug has worked on. So the big question for Doug is there any chance that since Zuckerberg has had a change of heart, we've seen on lately, that your original profile on Facebook, that you'll be taken out of jail, that lifetime jail sentence you've got on Facebook? But curious about that, Doug.
Well, I'm curious the other way. Has he actually gotten accustomed to signing his autographs in the pits, as Zook Fukerberg? I mean, is it going to have to be? Is it going to be a rough transition at this point? Maybe he's just become the Facebook profile that we all recognize. But it'll be interesting to see. He says his best pulling advice, and this one was interesting. Most folks talk about how to drive or what they do at the track. He says be financially stable before pulling. He says there's no such thing as a cheap pulling tractor. Thought that was interesting advice. Well, we see a lot of vehicles come and go, these days. I think Doug says, hey, get your other ducks in a row and then go pulling. But yeah, it certainly is not cheap, which goes all the way back to Ron and I talking about what we can do to expand the sport at the beginning of the show. His day-to-day job, he's a manufacturer. His pulling goals, he says, I want to get something unique and very competitive. Well, hey, I think we're well on our way to that. Yep. Says the best part about being an outlaw, he says, it's truly my second family when I'm at the pull. He says there is very little drama. And then he goes on to say, ain't got no time for that. So no drama. He's not worried about it. His message to the fans, come out and see us in the pits. We always have time for you guys. He says, without you, the fans, we can't do what we do. And he says you can follow all their pulling advances on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search for Griffin Growl. And they do run a pretty active Facebook page. I know when he was doing this rebuild, they saw a lot of active updates on it. So folks, go out there and check them out. When the smoke clears, you'll be seeing Doug Voth, the driver of the Griffin Growl.
Yeah, I know right before Lufkin there in October, I think they pulled a couple of all-nighters there trying to get that tractor ready for Lufkin. So that had to be weighing on his mind there too. When you work that many hours on a machine and you go without sleep, and you're doing it all as quick as you can. Did I tighten this? Did I get that? Did I check that? Did I adjust that? You know what I mean? So I'm sure a lot of that was weighing on their minds, but they did run it conservatively so it would live, and they're going to start turning the screws up early in the season. So see that Rolls Royce get put through its paces in 2025.
If you watched it at Lufkin, or if you live streamed it like I did, don't walk away and say, "Oh man, I don't know." That's so typical for especially not only a new tractor but a new mod. They'll hang every bit of weight they have out on the front. They'll run it, on the richer side. They want to. It's almost a break-in period. Wouldn't you agree, Ron, that first run or two is almost just getting the dirt under the tires. And then that next year, I mean, I've seen it with a lot of mod drivers, and then they'll slowly start cranking it up, and then watch out, world, because when they find the balance on these things, they're gone.
Yeah, City finished at 5:30 a.m. Friday of the first session of Lufkin. So loaded it up, went to Lufkin, unloaded, and pulled. So yeah, I've been there, done that, buddy. Been there, done that before. So awesome. Good one tonight.
Yep.
Of course, Doug Both, they're hosting a pull there in Lindsay, Texas in June of 2025. So keep that one in your hip pocket there, because that one's going to be a destination hook, just like White Right was. I think they're planning on doing this year after year. Schedule is coming along right now. We put out a tentative schedule last week. Of course, some things changed right after. So do not take that tentative schedule as the final schedule. If you're carrying a schedule around in May or June that says tentative on it, throw it away and download the one that says the final schedule, because there are still some things moving around a little bit. So Case Conover asks, where is the first pull? Ravenna, Nebraska for Outlaw. Doug says he'll be pulling the Griffin Growl in Columbus, Texas in May. So the Zycheks host a pull down there in Columbus, Texas. Thunder by the Colorado River, they call it.
Yep.
And you'll see several of the Texas Outlaw pullers at that event there. I've been there a couple times, covered that event. But pretty good pull, a lot of good Texas two-wheel drives, a lot of good Texas pullers down there for that event. So awesome show tonight. Good numbers all night. A lot of people watching. Looks like we got new fans checking in and watching every week here. So High Roller, is that the four-wheel drive pickup from the 80s? Is that what I'm saying?
You betcha. I saw the High Roller. I bought this from the folks that own the High Roller. I don't know a lot about it. Of course, I was always a Bigfoot fan, myself, being from not too far from St. Louis, Missouri. But I came across the High Roller in Kentucky when I was out doing a tractor pull sweep one time. And, grabbed the T-shirt. It's a cool-looking truck. Big fan of it.
Yeah, love the looks of those four-wheel drives back in the 80s. They just had a cool look to them.
Oh, yeah.
But, I seen that on your shirt earlier. I wondered if that was from that four-wheel drive.
Yep, the old maroon High Roller. I talked to them. They said when they restored the truck, they had everything they wanted except the tires. And they said that they didn't make the tires that they made for that specific style that they had when they first built it. Well, they started looking around and tracked them down, and they said, well, you will never guess who ended up buying those tires. They said Bob Chandler had them, so we just bought them back from Bob Chandler. So, of course, Bob Chandler, the inventor of Bigfoot, the inventor of the first monster truck. So they were sitting up there at Bigfoot #1 or monster truck #1 shop. But anywho, High Roller, monster trucks and tractor pulling. There was a time where they kind of went hand in hand. Wouldn't mind seeing that again someday.
They did. So, Mike, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks, Lane, for coming on tonight. And Doug both for doing When the Smoke Clears. And next Tuesday night, we'll see. We'll have some more pullers from going to the National Farm Machinery Show, and we're definitely going to be talking about Satsuma, Florida. And we'll start putting the app out there, showing you who all's going next week. We'll get all that stuff, those graphics and stuff up for next week, so you can see who you can see. There's going to be a whole mess of mini rods down there.
Get on the app right now. There's already 8 pullers signed up, and we're several weeks out, and a couple of interesting stories if you watched how 2024 ended. So download the app, folks. It's a great way to follow pulling.
Yep, the app, it's up and running here for 2025, ready to go, ready to take your entries. And just want to send a shout out. Get well Send some prayers out to Bruce Slaw. I
Yes.
understand he was in a
Yes.
pretty bad snowmobile accident over the weekend. So hopefully he's getting better, and prayers going out to the Slaw family there. No mercy team out there. So
Yep.
Hope he gets better.
Well said. Completely agree. Completely agree.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday, 7 Central on Outlawed Live.
And here we go. They're underway. Cheer 'em on. Let's go. The big chicken, he's in the lead. They're coming. 300 feet. Here we go.
Hey, guys, Robin's racing. Robin's
It's
racing.
close.
Just saying.
Oh, the big chicken, he's got him. Oh, no. Oh. Right side kind of hurt him there. He was fighting that white line all the way down. Here tonight, going to spot that sled here a little bit left of center. They've been kind of working this spot. And I would imagine try to drive it up, just like we saw Mr. Holsworth as he got an unbelievable hole shot. He got that sled moving really quick. That's what it's going to take. So that chicken down there, he's getting a little bit, he's getting wound up.
He's getting a little cocky, I think.
Yeah.
Pun intended there. Getting a little cocky. That chicken is talking about racing. The other chicken, Kurt Van Beek, the owner of the Outlaws. I can't believe he's going to do it, but here we go. Cody Ark, Rich Hill, Missouri, gone.
Oh, man.
Pulls back on the throttle, coasts the sled past the Schaefer oil barrel.
Man, oh man, fans, let's give him a nice round of applause. Your winner, your points champion, everything but the kitchen sink here tonight, Cody Yarrick.
373.78 at 34 miles per hour. The Cody Yarrick had gone. That is what we call a walk-off win, ladies and gentlemen. Last puller in the class wins the thing. Awesome. We'll give you the final rundown here in just a moment.